Hi guys, it's Mr. Donahue, and I'm reading a cool one. It's called Mrs. Smith and the Haunted Library by Michael Garland. This is Mrs. Smith is very cool. I like her books. She's very cool. But Mrs. Smith and the Haunted Library. Here we are. It's starting to turn fall. The leaves are falling. Zach stared out the classroom window in the dreary fall morning as he waited for his favorite teacher to arrive. Suddenly, Mrs. Smith burst through the door. "Good morning, class! We're going to visit the library today. There is someone special who I want you to meet." Zach smiled when Mrs. Smith picked up the incredible storybook before heading out the door. There's Mrs. Smith. Look at that hair. I love it. The library was right down the block from the school, and Zach weary-eyed the dark stone building as they walked single file up the sidewalk. The creaky door swung open, and they tiptoed inside. Ooh, that library looks scary, doesn't it? "Class," Mrs. Smith said, "this is our librarian, Virginia Creep." Virginia Creeper. Zach stared in shock. Blue hair, pale blue skin, dark eyes. He hadn't expected this. "Hello, Miss Creeper," said as in a high-pitched, squeaky voice. "How can I help you today?" "This is the season for spooky stories. Do you have any suggestions?" said Mrs. Smith. "Oh, yes," the librarian said. "Quite a few. I might find some of them in your incredible storybook." Ooh, boy. See, Mrs. Smith is kind of cool, isn't she? Mrs. Smith handed the book to Virginia Creeper. The librarian opened it and said, "I'll read a little story from my favorite scare stories." Ooh, there she is. She's going to read them. I hope you're not too scared. Mrs. Creeper began to read about a dark, haunted wood, and Zach shivered. Then, with a thunder of hooves, the headless horseman leaped out of the book. Oh, no! That'd sure scare me. The children's mouth hung open in disbelief. Virginia Creeper started reading again, and the hound of the Baskervilles pounced from the book. More reading added the clinking and rattling of chains. Of Marley's ghost appeared. New stories brought out the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Frankenstein, and Count Dracula. Ooh, those are some scary books. The class started to cling to Mrs. Smith, and the black horse snorted and stomped his hooves. Frankenstein groaned, but Virginia Creeper just kept on reading as a flock of ghosts flew from the book. When Captain Hook and the Wicked Witch of the West entered the room, Zach wondered if he should run for the door. I know I would, wouldn't you? And those are all too scary for me. The tiny creatures were crawling in the room, but that didn't stop Virginia Creeper from reading Rumpelstiltskin. The Queen of Hearts and the Big Bad Wolf squeezed through the others. Zach looked up and saw the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk bump his head on the ceiling. Oh no. I don't want to meet an angry big giant. He eats people. Next, the room was filled with eerie sounds of whiffling and burbling, and Virginia Creeper kept on. Flaming-eyed Jabberwocky arrived in a puff of smoke. Then the strangest thing happened. Virginia Creeper stopped reading and started to pass out cookies and apple ciders to the children. And the characters and the mood changed to Zach's amazement. A party started right there in the library. Look at that. I kind of like a party like that. And the creatures seemed happy to be at the library. The headless horseman gave horsey rides and the kids lined up. Somebody bought out a ball and played fetch with the Hound of the Baskervilles. Dracula told jokes. The giant gently picked up some kids and lifted them up into the air. And everyone was enjoying the fun. The characters didn't seem so scary now. Look at all that fun. I wish I was there. Don't you? Virginia Creeper's happy smile suddenly changed to a worried frown when she looked out the window and saw the seniors' book club coming up the walk. "Oh my," said Mrs. Creeper. "I almost forgot. It's time for the book club. They can't see this. It will give them such a fright. Go and tidy up while I stall them at the door," the librarian told Mrs. Smith. Look who the senior book club is. Can you see them? They're the older people, grandmas and grandpas. Virginia Creeper blocked the impatient readers from entering while Mrs. Smith ran around in a tizzy. She picked up overturned chairs and straightened the bookshelves. Oh no, Virginia is having trouble keeping them out. Outside, the seniors were getting grouchy, but inside, the kids and the characters had become too silly to notice. "Can I help?" Zach asked Mrs. Smith. She handed the incredible storybook to Zach. "Remember," Mrs. Smith said, "we have to finish each story so that the characters will go back into the book. Read the first page of each tale while I deal with this mess." Oh no. There's the adults. Oh, they're reading for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. That's a good story. When you get older, you might want to read that. It's by Albert Albee. That's a good book. Zach opened up the book and quickly finished all the stories. One by one, the characters went back into the incredible storybook. The Puzzle Book Club burst into the room just as Zach finished the last page. "Okay, class, it's time to check out your books," Mrs. Smith said. She guided the class toward the big front desk. There's all the characters going back in. Everyone thanked Virginia Creeper before marching down the library steps and heading back to school. With borrowed books under their arms, the children were looking forward and heading more... Wait a minute. Back up. With borrowed books under their arms, the children were looking forward to reading more about all the characters that they had just met. Zach smiled and wondered what they'll read tomorrow. They've got The World of Opoo, Skaggs, Otto Silverman, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Oh wow, spooky stories. They've got some great books there. And there is Zach reading his scary storybook. But what's outside that window right there? Ooh. But there is all the kids reading their scary stories, just like Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Creeper. Hey, that's a pretty good book. It wasn't too scary, was it? So if you like this book, Mrs. Smith and the Haunted Library, or any of the other Mrs. Smith books, I'll try and read some of them too. You will love that book. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.